We got to start that as the intro from now on. We got to play that fucking song.
Let's go, Brandon. I keep a drum like I'm Nick Cannon. Hey.
I once accidentally sent a video of myself jerking off to my grandma.
Hey, welcome back to Four for the Road, everybody. I'm your host, Punk Rock, and we got a whole fucking shit ton of us today. We got No Shame, we got Father Time, we got fucking Mother Nature over there, and then we got America's favorite anal bead. We got Dave with us today, and we're gonna talk about some speculative stuff today. We're just gonna jump in here, man. We're gonna talk about the State of the Union, and Dave, you wanted to start us off, man. What's up?
First, if my shit cuts out, let me know. I think I have a bad internet connection wherever I'm sitting. But yes, I did have something here I wanted to read for our start here. This came from Jim's first State of the Union, and it is 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. I don't know if that applies to motorcycle clubs, but it's a good segue. But yeah, we're going to do the State of the Union. I thought maybe something like, what was 2021 like for you guys, for clubs, for whatever, and where the fuck do we think it's going to go in 2022? My bold prediction is that the diamond is going to change. Okay, we're going to see a new iteration of the 1% symbol. I have nothing to base that on. I'm completely talking shit, but that's my prediction for 2022. It's going to change. It's going to morph like it did in the 60s, and it's going to become something different. That's my prediction for 2022.
I don't think it's there yet.
I don't think it's going to change, but I definitely do think that there are going to be something similar to that, where you see some clubs that have unique patches that are strictly between Club A and Club B.
But you already see that. I wonder, and again, I'm just bullshitting, but could there come a time where we see another metamorphosis of the diamond, of the 1% label? I mean, it went through so many changes so quickly early on. Is there a chance that it could ever, 2023 or beyond or something like that, we see a change? Is that, or is it
it's not there yet, because it has to hit rock bottom. What I mean by that is you have to get so many people out there diluting what that symbol means before the original 1%ers that, around now, the real 1%ers, for lack of a better term, just say, okay, I've had enough of this shit. We're going to create something new. But it's starting down that road. I mean, everybody and their brother throws in a diamond, 1% or something else, with any new set of cuts that come out.
See, I don't think so.
Shut up, Ken.
Jesus, man, I know we were recording kind of late tonight, but I didn't know Pop was going to be this angry missing.
I miss Matlock for this shit.
But no, I think that this generation of bikers, especially that community, hold a lot of respect for tradition and, the old ways and what that stuff means. Which is why I don't think that clubs that currently wear a 1% diamond will ever evolve it. I think, and I guess I did a poor job of explaining it, but I believe that 1%ers that recognize other 1%ers will eventually come up with a patch that breaks them apart from everybody else. Again, like the 1% patch did in the 60s.
Well, we have two guys right here.
As I say, we have a couple of 1%ers on this podcast. Do you guys think there's ever a chance that it'll morph or change again like it did, or is it kind of like are we at the peak as far as the symbol, not what it means, but the what you wear itself?
Well, that changed years and years ago. When you have different nations that they took the 1%er itself and they like adding their patch to it, or their center patch to the 1%er diamond. Not everybody wears a 1%er. I mean, there's clubs that wears 1% inside of it, versus 1%er. And then again, you have clubs that their club patch is inside that diamond. So, it's already changed throughout the years as it is, definitely the meaning behind it has changed throughout the years. It used to mean something a little different than what it does now. A lot of 1% clubs now, it's became a business, more than the brotherhood aspect of it. So, I think it's already changed. Will it, when you say change is in, the square versus the diamond, or a diamond and becoming a circle, I don't know. I mean, it's I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't see it in anywhere in the near future. No.
So
there was
when you
something
say
that
that when you say that clubs are becoming more of a business and not about the brotherhood, could you give us specific examples and use government names?
don't,
No.
don't do that to that man.
No, I won't. No shame. No shame was talking.
God, it was
there's I don't even remember what I was saying anymore. So you're talking about like 1%, like the insignia changing. There was something that I think Jim was saying it maybe a year ago when we were doing this. In that I don't think the 1% diamond or the patch is going away, but I do think that there's going to possibly be other things that people use, and it might not even be a patch anymore. I mean, like you look at my club. My club doesn't have a 1% diamond at all. Like there's no 1% in any of our stuff. It's actually not even allowed to be something that we claim because it's not what represents our history. Our history is represented by our diamond, which says "Take none, give none" in it. And I don't think we ever set out to say like we are 1%ers. But one of the things that I've always said is like who has a seat at the table. So everybody who has any like kind of sway in this life or acts in that position, in that role as a dominant, they know who the players are in the game. So whether or not, like, there's a million fucking clubs out there that have a 1% diamond on, but they're not involved in those conversations. They're not sitting at those tables. So do I need a patch to tell me like what you are, who you are? Nowadays, I don't think so. I think the community, as small as it's always been, has gotten smaller with technology and with social media and with the ease of being able to find somebody and getting in touch with somebody. I know who the players are. Silent knows who the players are. Everybody knows who's who in their areas, and you can get in touch with them. And these guys that are running around here with their fucking eBay patches and their 1% diamonds that they sewn on from their club that they made up 5 days ago, they're jokes. Like the patch doesn't mean what it used to unless you have the backing and the clout behind the patch to hold up to it. Because like we always say, the patch doesn't make the fucking person. The person makes the patch.
So I like what you said there because you're kind of like, that adage that people like to use nowadays, real recognizes real. That's essentially what you're saying. Like those that are legitimate and respected will be at the table, and those that are a fly by night or a flake, the lames won't be at the table. Do you think that like if it did change, or like Jim was talking about maybe clubs taking on different patches with different meanings to them or their history or whatever, like is there going to be this rush of clubs any more so than there's been already, or like trying to claim some sort of status and like this whole new figuring out like who's legit and who isn't, or is that something that's just kind of ever continuous and evolving?
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna, and it will continue, because every time you get a group of guys that are, I'm going to throw this out there in a sense that it's happened over and over again. There's numerous clubs that we can all name that they were started from out and bad members or out members, just even out and good members, that they felt their current club wasn't a fit for them, or they got kicked the fuck out of that club. But in their heart, they're still a 1%er, so a week later, they've done some sort of Google shit and designed a whole new patch, and now they've started a new club, and they're rocking a diamond because they feel that they're a 1%er still. I mean, look how many questions we've gotten in the inbox about that. Well, I earned my diamond, so I'm still a 1%er. Well, no, you weren't a 1%er before you joined the club, and if you're not in the club, you're no longer a 1%er. That's how that works. But so I think it'll continue, and in that context of new clubs and pop-up clubs, I think that'll be something that dominant clubs will fight from now until the day we're not on this earth.
So, obviously not speaking specifically for your club or anything like that, but do you feel that clubs who are friendly with each other will try to come up with some sort of moniker or some other sort of like a pin or something else that where they identify like kind of what like the goose in the fourth row does?
No, because I agree with NoShame. I think we're on the exact same page about that. The same clubs sit down at the table and fix problems. So you're always going to acknowledge, and you may not like them, but you have some sort of respect for other clubs, for their tenure in this life, and real recognizes real. So exactly like Anal B Dave said.
There's a story behind that, which I'll get to like near the end, after NoShame goes right now.
Now, there's one of the things that Silent was saying about like these. I don't even necessarily want to call them revenge clubs. I mean, some of them end up being that, but some of them do end up just being like some guy got out of a club and it was a 1% club and now he wants to start something new. Or it could just be like a brand new club that's starting and they want to operate in that space. What you're seeing a lot nowadays is those clubs getting tested, and some of those clubs, they are stepping up and then they're fighting back and they're pushing back and they're trying to earn that space within that table. But one of the things that you're not seeing is a welcome invitation to the table. So
is that because there's so many players already sitting at the table, they're out of seats, or why not the not so much a red carpet, but why not a chance to let somebody else sit at the table? Why the resistance to letting somebody else sit at the table?
There hasn't been a welcome mat since 1965, dude.
No, I think tenure has a lot to do with it. Tenure absolutely has a lot to do with it. Just like Silent was saying, like the age in the game has more respect than anything, and then a lot of these guys that are coming in and they're trying to earn their spot, you're stepping on a lot of dicks to earn that spot. So, it's creating a lot more ripples than it is solutions. And I think when you have that table there, the whole purpose of that table is to create solutions. Silent was saying, like whether or not we like on a personal level the person sitting across from that table with us, the whole point of sitting there is that, yes, we respect your position, we respect your history, we respect your tenure enough to sit here and be able to like come up with solutions. And when somebody new is coming down the block and they're saying like, this is me, there might be one or two clubs that they get along with, but it takes time to earn that respect to be able to sit across from somebody and say like, hey, we're going to put our differences aside right now. We're going to work on the bigger picture of shit.
So I think like kind of the concept of this episode was, a state of the union, like what we saw in 2021 or what we think might happen in 2022, just speculating and kind of bullshitting about. But there's so many different rabbit holes and areas that you can go with this topic that we're currently talking about. Like, how do you earn your place at the table, or what is, pushing back versus respecting the culture? There's just so many different areas to go in, but trying to stick to like that state of the union and what will 2022 bring, or what did we see in 2021? Do you think in 2022 going forward, do you think like there's going to be a increase? I don't know if we're not trying to talk shit here, but an increase in pushing back, an increase in clubs trying to earn their spot at the table. Will it taper off a little bit? Will clubs maybe become more welcoming rather than pushing back? I mean, what do you think? What do you think we're going to see moving forward?
I don't know. I can't really make a prediction on what we might see, but I know what I would like to see is I would like to see more conversations happen between clubs, whether regardless of how they feel about each other. It's no secret. I feel that communication is, verbal communication is the most important form of communication, and that communication solves every issue that you can come across. Right? You got to remove.
I
don't agree with that at all. No.
Well, and here's why. When you take the fucking ego out of it, right? If you don't walk into the room with the attitude of I have the biggest dick here and everybody's going to bend to my whim, and you actually you listen to the person for what they're saying and not just listening to them to respond to whatever they're saying, I think a lot can be accomplished. Yeah, some of it's going to be, a lot of it's going to be compromise. And I know a lot of people don't want to do that. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of that. It's just my personal opinion. But I'm also a real enough motherfucker to understand that shit won't happen. If you got somebody that is, just as an example, I mean, I might be fucking speaking way out of turn here too. But if I got somebody who's running an area and then somebody else comes in and says, oh, hey, I'm just going to fucking be here now. Fuck off. Yeah, there's going to be fucking issues there. But I think, again, that communication, meeting in the middle, compromise, I think a lot of that stuff could do wonders for the culture. And this is big picture shit, right? This isn't just about, fucking your Monday to Sunday stuff. This is motorcycle profiling project level. This is Congress level shit. If you see,
you're never going to get egos out of it.
Well, I mean, with certain organizations, I completely agree with you. There are some that just have issues for far too long for it to be rectified. I understand that, and I accept that. But I think
this is where I think you're missing the boat on that. Okay, you own your house, right?
Yeah.
Right. You've worked hard for it. You've paid the price, and now you have your sanctuary, your domain. Okay? You agree?
Sure.
Okay. So tomorrow I show up at your house with a U-Haul truck and I say, hey, I'm here. I'm moving in. And we just need to sit down and make a compromise. Right? Do you agree with that?
So when you use it, when you use it,
hold on.
No. He asked the question. I'm going to respond. So when you use it in the term of that, no, I don't. Right? This is my private property. But when I'm looking at, let's say a county, right?
Okay.
And yeah, you put in the work, you locked your shit down, you run it how you want to, and everything's hunky dory and everything's great because everything's under one umbrella. Cool. But why could we not be better together? That's my thing, right?
Because everybody don't need a fucking trophy.
But how many umbrellas do you need?
So first of all, let me just say that we are on the verge of accomplishing our goal, which is to get Silent spun up. We're almost there, guys. Keep working.
Shut the fuck up, Jim.
You have.
I don't believe this shit. I'm coming up with it as I'm fucking talking, bro.
You have these nations that claim a territory, whether it be a state, a county, a city, or whatever, and they've embedded themselves into the community, and they've busted their ass to build that rapport and to establish themselves as an established club. We're not talking about a pop-up club. We're talking about nations, right? To have a club, even another nation, just pop up and go, hey, the world's big enough for both of us. The county's big enough for both of us. The city's big enough for both of us. That's bullshit. To me, that's no different than me showing up at your front door and going, hey, I appreciate you getting the house built and getting all the rooms painted and the furniture set in place. So now I'm going to enjoy the fruits of your labor. that's ultimately what you're saying. You hope to happen in 2022.
See, Jim, if you wouldn't have said shit, I could have kept this going for at least another 10 minutes.
I know. That's why we stopped.
You would have been yelling, and you fucked that up for us. So there's that. No. Okay, like in all honesty, I do believe that communication does fix a lot of issues, but definitely not here, because I do agree with what you're saying, Dad. That you put in the work to make those community relations work for your nation, not just your charter, not your just chapter, whatever you guys call it. Different clubs call it different things, but for your nation, so that way when you got brothers from out of town visiting, it's not scary that they see a different state rocker underneath that. It's just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. No, I totally fucking agree with you. I was really trying to get you spun up and maybe just start.
Yeah, okay. No,
and I was
Ken loves that kumbaya stuff. Ken loves that kumbaya stuff.
Yeah,
if you walk backwards any faster, you're gonna fall on your ass.
Okay, this motherfucker. Yeah, get the fuck out of bed and record a show first. Okay. The honest to God truth, I really do want to see that. I really do believe that it is achievable, right? But at the end of the day, I know it's not possible because ego.
Not so much ego.
It comes down to ego.
It's not really ego. There are top clubs out there that will take whatever they can take, and that's the rule that they live by. If I can take it, it's mine.
But what ego are you talking about? The ego of a dominant saying no and we'll communicate about you moving your umbrella? Or are you talking about the ego of somebody that thinks because they put on a patch that they should be allowed in this area without challenge or with challenge or whatever, rather than maybe joining an already established club or trying to bring a new chapter to another area? I mean, which way does the ego go? The ego to not accept a no answer and to start your own thing, or the ego to not allow new umbrellas in your area?
It's both.
I don't think ego has anything to do with it in any circumstance. So ego is something to throw out there, but it also paints this picture that we're all sitting out here being like petty in a way, and that's not what's happening at all. I can look at another club that I disagree with and say that this has nothing to do with their ego. It has everything to do with their perspective. So if I look at another club that I disagree with or don't see eye to eye with, a lot of it has to do with what is my perspective of the situation. That I'm not going to see eye to eye with this other club. And them coming into this situation, nobody's coming into this thing saying like, I'm just going to completely be a fucking asshole and I'm going to not follow any of the rules. Everybody thinks that they're righteous when they're doing an action because their perspective tells them that. But it's like it's my point of view versus your point of view. Somebody coming into my house, using the analogy that Silent was using, and setting up in my house, they don't do that thinking like, oh, I'm just doing this and I'm like it's going to work. They do that thinking that they have a right to that. They come into that area thinking that they have like some manifest destiny type right to be there. And I'm sitting in that area thinking, no, I have fucking set this whole shit up. Like, nothing to do with ego. This is my fucking hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. My perspective tells me something different. And now it's on us to try and work out what is the best possible solution for this. But is it me putting my ego aside to do it? No. Is that putting their ego aside? No. They just have a different way of looking at things.
So I know I'm just independent and no shame's 1%er, but let me tell you where you're wrong. I'm just totally kidding, by the way. I'm fucking around. No, I appreciate your view on that, but I mean, maybe it's just my ignorance because I've been involved in some stuff that could have got sideways, but communication and cooler heads prevailed. So that maybe that's just luck.
And pop or not people not knowing, right? The top clubs all talk to each other, right? The communication is out there. NoShame can verify it. I know damn well that his nation talks to other nations, top nations. All the top nations talk to each other. Doesn't mean you like each other, right? But you still communicate. So when you say more communication, you would really be surprised how much communication really does take place. That's why you just don't have this huge melee of shit going on across the entire United States. It may be something here or something there, but that's not from lack of the leadership attempting to always keep the peace amongst nations.
Well, that's absolutely like the biggest point, is that anybody that thinks the leadership of these nations is not doing their utmost to try and keep the peace in most situations, it's you're lost in the drama of it all. And like Silent was saying, like the communication absolutely happens, but when as a leader, you can't necessarily control every little action that happens down the line, and a lot of it you're just playing catch up, and you're trying to juggle all these little falling things all over the place and trying to toss them back up in the air, and that ends up being like the most frustrating part of all of it. Is how do I keep all these pieces from hitting the ground when all of them are trying to slip at every given moment?
Right.
So I have a question for guys. Keeping in spirit with what Anal B Dave was saying. So for the last year, 2021, did you guys notice that there's been a huge shift in who's where and what club is doing this and what club is doing that? It just seems to me that everything got jumbled around, and so who knows what 22 is going to look like.
I was wondering too, like with that, and of course we're not fucking Insane Throttle. We're not going to post a picture of patches every time they fight. That's not our shtick. But we do understand that things happen. Conflicts happen between everybody, between school teachers, motorcycle clubs, men, women, kids, whatever. Conflict happens. Is it something that, two parts here, is it something that's more prevalent because of all this, these jumblings and these things like Jim was talking about? Is it something that we're just more aware of because it always will hit the news and it will always hit social media, and you have platforms like certain other YouTube pages or whatever that are always advertising and highlighting that shit, but really it's less or no different than it was in the 60s, 70s, 80s or whatever? Or is it more prevalent today? I guess if I was going to go first and give my opinion on that, I think there's more attention paid to it. I would say that maybe when the actions or the conflicts take place, there's a more violent approach to it maybe sometimes. Do I think that clashes or conflicts between clubs are more prevalent than they've ever been before or anything like that? No. I just think we have more access to the news story. I think we have more access to people irresponsibly talking about it. I think you can address it and not ignore an elephant in the room without highlighting it for profit like some of the other folks do. But I don't know that it's definitely upticked. But I don't think it's any more prevalent than it's at any other time in this history. I don't think this is like the most violent period for motorcycle clubs by a long shot.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that you said. I don't think that there's anything different from 2021 to 2020 to 2019. I think the exact same moves have happened, here, there, or whatever. But I know for a fact these other former club guys that are jumping out here and becoming the subject matter experts on MC life are exploiting everything that goes on in the club world, where before, social media was like taboo. It was like a huge no, and we've even broke the barriers as the staff on this page, but we're simply talking about real life shit. We're not exploiting incidents between one club and another, where these other guys are, because it's clickbait. They throw a lot of them the same patches, and they talk about something just to get people to click so that people will pay, or they'll get paid rather, the more people go on their bullshit page. But ultimately, yes, I think that these moves that are happening have been happening, but they've never been put in the forefront of social media, and people haven't been as aware of them unless you're in the know.
I can see that. So I got another question. So let's just take Texas for last year and the year before. Texas, huge changes. Compare that with all the changes that happened in Southern California in the 60s and 70s. Is it the same? Is it as intense as it was back then? What's going on in Texas now, or what?
I mean, it's a hard one because I mean you're talking about different access to information. You're definitely to now. I think too, the money is different, and I don't mean that in clubs. I mean in reporting on it. I mean in investigating it. I think in the 60s and the 70s in Southern California, if two clubs met each other in a bar and didn't get along, it was nothing to trash the bar and each other and call it a day. And that was the end of it. And you
until they made a biker movie or wrote a Look magazine article about it. Yeah.
And now I think, like I said, again, I think it's hard for somebody that's not in the scene or doesn't love motorcycles and motorcycle clubs to even fathom this. But like, if you're talking to any of us and somebody got into a scrape or a bar fight or a fist fight, whatever, but okay, that's kind of sometimes men do that, whatever. And I think it's maybe harder for the general public to grasp that concept. But I think, again, getting back to Jim's question, like, is it more prevalent? I don't know. It's hard because I mean, you guys obviously were alive then. I wasn't, but like I imagine, and just what I do know about history, that these conflicts, like in the growth, there's always conflicts in growth. They probably happen pretty, a bar fight, a dust up, a drag race, whatever was kind of how it went back then. And I think now there's big money attached to agencies being able to say, well, you guys are bikers and you were fighting. Let's fucking investigate that for a year, arrest one person, and have a $30 million budget. I think it's different. It's hard to say. It's just different times. And so I guess to generalize it or to clean it up or move elsewhere, it is hard because there are topics, I don't hear it for the road. Like we've never shied away from talking about things. We just try to be respectful enough to not mention specifics or stuff like that. And so I think, if you're going to be a motorcycle page and we have so many great fucking club guys here, then we want to leverage that information for guys that are in the life or guys that are thinking about getting in the life or whatever, but also at the same time, respect the position that you have, that if people are going to listen to your fucking podcast, don't overstep and don't talk about certain things that don't need to be aired and stuff. It's a tightrope to walk, to be respectful, but to also acknowledge some of the things that are a part of club life. You can't just talk about bike rides and racing and titties and everything else, because then you're giving somebody a false sense of what motorcycle club life includes. You've got to give somebody an overview of everything. And I've seen way more bar fights than I've seen titties. That's what I was going to tell you guys right now.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, and not to kind of speak on the other side of the social media piece of it. I mean, we've talked about how the media itself and social media kind of sensationalizes the incidents that do happen. But one of the things that I think we need to look at too is how much does the access to social media and clubs being more comfortable getting on social media expose those clubs to new areas that they traditionally haven't been in before? And like, how much does that lend to the spread and the growth of these clubs? Because I think for a lot of nations, big as you may be and established in as many areas as you may be, growth always seems to be, like one of the next milestones. And with that growth, you're going to eventually have conflict. And not to speak to anything specifically, but just kind of looking at the culture as a whole, one of my personal concerns, is that it ends up being kind of like the housing bubble in 2008, where things get so inflated that eventually it gets to a point where it pops. And not to try and sensationalize anything, but I think we need to evolve kind of the way that we do things, because we are operating in a different space than we have been traditionally.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think back when everybody laughs at it, but Sons of Anarchy, when that series came out, or those seasons, you didn't recruiting was not like it is now. Back then everybody wanted to be Jax Teller. Everybody wanted to be part of a motorcycle club, and now recruiting is completely different. That's a has-been show, and and now you actually got to go out there and be part of the community, and establish those bonds with the community in order to grow, like you're talking about, NoShame. So I just wanted to throw that little piece out there before I forgot, because I got dementia.
Well, you bring up a really good point about how social media, or media in general, can fuel the expansion of a club. So we know all those old biker movies from the 60s and 70s. They predominantly displayed one club. They used the name of the club a lot in the movies. And yes, Anal Bead Dave.
Sorry, I was just hoping, could you also, wherever you're going with this, also give us your thoughts, as long as you're talking, on what you think social media will look like for the MC community in 2022?
Say that again?
Can you also add in, as long as as long as you're like already got the floor, can you add in also what you think social media will look like for clubs in 2022, the good, the bad, whatever?
Oh, it's going to grow. It's like the old biker B movies were in the old days. That's what's fueling it. People see all this stuff, and it's not just motorcycle clubs and their social media. It's things like two lane life, Murder Town, all those groups that are out there that are motorcycle related. Um, the events like Trog, the Race of Gentlemen, when they put their video stuff up, people see that, they get attracted to it. I think that's what's fueling the growth of a lot of clubs, and in some ways that's good. I guess it depends on how you portray yourself out there as to what kind of people you're going to attract.
Is it harder, I guess, for Silence and NoShame and Jim? Sorry, Ken. Is it harder being a gatekeeper now when looking at probates and prospects than maybe in the past? I feel like in the past, motorcycle clubs generally brought together similar people, and not that it still doesn't, but again, with your exposure to things like Four for the Road or motorcycle events, motorcycle videos, club stuff, whatever, maybe more people that maybe wouldn't have walked up to Silence in the past are now interested in wanting to come to events and hang around. Is it harder to be that gatekeeper now than in past years prior?
I think it's very different between what I do as a non-diamond club and what diamond clubs, deal with. I get all kinds, as I'm sure they do too, but I get all kinds coming to our club. But it's people specifically looking for, I don't know. I don't even know the words for it. It's just the history, I guess, is what they're looking for.
Yeah. Now, are you referring to some sort of stardom? Is that where the question was going, Dick?
No. I just think that for you guys that are evaluating and considering hangarounds to make them prospects, or just letting guys around the club, I think it's a little bit different today how people find clubs or how people become interested in clubs, where maybe 20 or 30 years ago, it was probably a safe bet that most of the guys were, not all, but a lot of them were probably similar backgrounds or similar characteristics and things like that. And now today there's a wider appeal and you're getting more folks in. Like, how, as gatekeepers, as protecting the integrity of your club, how has that changed? Or what do you consider when looking at that stuff?
Me personally, nothing has changed in my view from now to, 10 years ago. Your vetting process still has to be the same vetting process, no matter what. It's got to be consistent.
I don't think the standards change. I think what I see a lot is people that think that they're ready for the full commitment that it takes to be in a club. I think they're, with the exposure that clubs get and kind of like all the information that's out there, it's easy to get on like a page like ours or any of the other protocol pages and do your research and be knowledgeable, probably more knowledgeable than somebody would have been, 10, 20 years ago coming to a club. And that in a way that gives you people that have like a greater amount of potential, but that doesn't take into account how much drive or motivation or dedication that they have to the life. And that's what you're testing when you're going through these vetting processes to allow somebody in the club. I can teach you all the things I need to teach you. So you coming to me with that knowledge doesn't really like do anything, long term. But what I'm still testing the same things. I'm still testing whether or not you're going to be a good brother, whether or not you're going to be able to put the time and balance your life the right way. The only thing that I think I see is people that falsely believe that they can do that, but through a process of being selective and not lowering your standards, those people end up getting filtered out, maybe in higher numbers than they used to, but they get filtered out all the same.
Yeah, the whole hang around prospect or probate, you got to have a good program, or else it's just going to cause problems, bigger problems down the road.
And you got to remember, social media is only putting out two-dimensional things. You're either going to see a video, with a big pack and everybody's having a great time and they're kind of raising hell, or you're going to see the clickbait guys that are only putting the drama on the front line. Somebody got killed, somebody got arrested, something like that. What I haven't seen on social media is that guy standing in front of the clubhouse at 4:00 in the fucking morning, trying to stay awake. That's already smoked a pack of cigarettes or went through a can of dip, as a probate, standing out there. You don't see that part. So, when it comes to the social media part of bringing guys in, which I think was part of the question, or somewhat part of the question. You're not seeing a full 360. You're not seeing the whole picture. You only see what that content creator wants you to see.
What about you, Kenneth? Using you as an example, you're somebody that's kind of lived in a lot of different places and been all over. You're a part of social media, hopefully the right side of social media, but you're obviously in tune with it as well. As somebody that's in love with motorcycle clubs and the history of it, and the brotherhood and all the good things, and some of the negatives about clubs, has having the access to different clubs, or maybe clubs you didn't even know about, stuff like that, both in person and social media, like changed how you approach what your next home might be?
Yeah, we don't care what he has to say.
Oh, stop it! Stop it!
No, not so much. I think it's really cool that now you have a platform to reach out to other people, and as long as they could verify that you are who you say you are, and people are okay to talk to you and stuff like that, you can learn a lot about that club without trying to get anybody in trouble here. But I've got a friend or two in a couple different nations that they open up about their history that you can't just find online, and it's pretty interesting stuff. And I think that is one of the things that is awesome about the social media and clubs kind of accepting that and using that to portray themselves a certain way. But as far as it having an influence on where I'm going to call home next, no, I don't think that. I don't think that really plays a part in it.
And I think sometimes when folks try to criticize or whatever, nitpick on shit that we say or do, I feel like they're short-sighted, and they say, well, you can't learn everything from social media. Look, God damn it, nobody's saying learn everything from social media. It's like it's another tool for your toolbox, like Ken just hit on. He might talk to somebody that he has had beers with, had dinner with, whatever, but now they're on a run or they're fucking over here. Ken had to go somewhere for duty. And you still have that ability through texting, through social media, through whatever, to still communicate with folks, to still engage, have a connection, learn, ask questions, whatever the fucking applicable thing is. Nobody is saying anybody is trying to learn about clubs or join clubs strictly from social media. I'm sure some people are, but that's not what we're talking about. We're saying it's just another fucking thing that you can add to your toolbox, like Drifter, like his club. You guys, up until a year or two ago, I mean, there was almost like radio silence, trying for an outsider trying to get stuff, and now you've slowly started to kind of peel back that layer and be more open with it, and so now people are able to learn more before they even talk to them.
So I've done a lot, right? And
whoa, I thought we said there was no egos here. NoShame told me there was no egos.
Don't think I don't have the big eyeball of national president staring down my neck every time I post something.
Did you say neck or dick?
Let's not get into that.
I think we all are. I myself, I don't have 100% backing on anything that I do on social media. So regardless of, and I'm sure NoShame is in the same situation to a point, even though Blade has helped pave the way in a sense for Chosen Few, because he's been with me even online so much for the last 10 years, close to 10 years. But it's not welcomed. It's not welcome with open arms. There's guys that are very in tune with it. But there's an age bracket, which I think goes back to what you were saying, Dave. Your 30 to 35-year-olds are somewhat questionable. Your 25, 28-year-olds, they're like all about social media, because that's the thing. TikTok, Facebook, fucking whatever, YouTube. They're all about the new Instagram, Twitter. They are social media guys. The older guys that are my age, they're not real keen on that shit, because they think everything that comes out of your mouth is a club secret, and shouldn't be talked about online. And that's not actually that's not the case. I know myself, I've never divulged a club secret online at all in social media in any shape, form, or fashion, and I never will, because I am completely loyal and dedicated and committed to my nation, and they have to be first. So when we talk on here, it's just protocols and traditions and shit like that. But yeah, social media is not something that's accepted across the board, at least not in my nation.
I think it's made it.
Quick question: did you and Professor Blade, did you guys start some of this stuff in AOL chat or like what was the first platform you all used?
Damn well.
I respected the shit out of you, Dave. I respected the shit out of you. I would expect that some dumb shit like that to be from punk rock.
Kid. Oh, it's coming, but you keep interrupting me. So, Dave, to answer your question, yeah, they started that shit back when they still had to deliver. They had delivery ravens from castle to castle. That's when they started that shit.
You made this one too long. You had it
too long,
and you made
missed your window. You missed your
See, I tried, but fucking Silent wouldn't shut his geriatric ass up. I had to wait and be respectful of my ancients.
He was using the internet against you.
He fucking was. And now he's over here typing on his fucking jitterbug.
But no, I think Silent's spot on. What he said, we have these amazing dudes that give us access to them, or give anybody access to them, whether it's Drifter, Professor, Silent, NoShame, Road Dirt, Chris, whatever, Tragic, the list goes on. That again, these guys aren't going in there and telling you, they're not even telling you, for the most part, they're not even telling you what the fuck they did on Saturday night, right? Like, you're not getting behind the scenes stuff. They're giving you their general thoughts from, combined, there's probably no bullshit, almost 100 years of knowledge between the entire staff, if not more. They're just giving you their thoughts, and they're giving you another thing to learn from before you decide if it's for you, because there's only so much that if you go up and tell Drifter or talk to Drifter, there's only so much he's going to tell you that first time or that second time or that third time. It's going to take you a long time to invest, to get Drifter to invest in you.
Yep.
True?
Rum helps.
and part of that process of getting to know Drifter, you can also come here and listen to him talk, or you can get an idea or think about something you never thought about a club life from Silent or NoShame or whatever, and that can help inform your decision so that you're not wasting your time or wasting Jim's time. How much more time does Jim have left? None of us know, so he certainly doesn't want to waste it.
Oh, fuck you, Dave.
But
So
and again,
I will say that social media does one really good thing though. It allows people the opportunity to go up and meet these clubs. You know, you don't always know where the next big event is. You know, let's say you're interested in a club, and it might be hard to track those guys down or whatever. But you can fire off an email and say, "Hey, can you let me know when you guys are going to be out again? I'd like to come meet." That's one.
And you're 100. There is no white pages really for clubs. Maybe in local areas that have stuff where they share flyers and things like that. But a lot of them that are doing it on social media. You can show up to bike nights and things like that, but you might not meet everybody. You might not meet all the who's in the zoo. So now it's just another way for you to make an informed decision. Don't waste Silence time. Don't waste your time. Make informed decisions and go from there. I don't know if you want to waste NoShame's time or not. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
That's it? Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Words of wisdom.
We're not talking about stuff you can't comment anymore. You can chime in now.
I was reading the screenshots that Drifter posted on the group page.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was invested. I was invested in talking with y'all. I haven't looked at him yet. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I figured he was thinking about duck hunting or something.
I was thinking about duck hunting. Only got 20 more days left in the season. So I gotta stay focused.
Yeah.
So, does anybody else have anything? Otherwise, I can tell you who Anal Beat Dave is.
Let's hear that.
So I got a package from our boys, and I don't remember who was all on the show. It might have just been me and Ken doing it with them, but we had Death Cycles on the show, and Death Cycles is run by a couple of friends of mine, Stone, shout out to Stone, and Rick, who we had on the show. Stone, I've spent a lot of time with him. He's in a big club down in Tennessee. Good friend. Love that guy to death. Can't say enough good things about Stone. Up until today. So he sent me a package and he sent me a text and he goes, "Hey man, you can't open anything until you're going to do a podcast and what. And I want it to be a surprise. And then I want you to tell everybody what you got while you're doing the podcast." I was like, fair enough. If you're going to take the time to send me something, I can do that. So I opened this box. I got it. I opened it today, and there's a nice hat in there. It doesn't fit me though. It's like a medium or something. I have to give it to Ken. I got a big ass dome. So Stone, if you're listening, I know you're listening. I'm going to give the hat to Ken. He had a couple of nice Death Cycles t-shirts. There's some stickers in there. I think there was a bandana in there and stuff like that. And then I get to the bottom where the stickers are, and there's this clear package. And I'm like, what in the hell? What is this thing? Like, is this like a keychain or what is this? And it's like it's anal beads with lube. So this package, I don't know if they were used. I hope they weren't used. They're actually probably funnier if they were used. So I mean, we'll have to have him chime in the comments if they were used or not. But I used them already. I'm using them right now, and it's fantastic. The lube that he sent over is great.
You know what? We don't, Stone. We're just gonna assume that they were used, and that you're even more of an amazing person for sending him used anal beads.
Pre-lubed for your convenience.
What is that? Like, you know how if you fuck the same chick as your buddy fucked, you're like Eskimo buddies? Is there a term for if you use the same anal beads as your buddy used?
Oh,
anal bros?
Beady buddies?
Bead buddies? BBs?
Beady buddies. Instead of beanie babies, they're beady
So what
buddies.
happens when Dave passes them to Ken?
Then we become beady buddies. Keep up with us, man. Come on.
Beanie buddy.
I thought about like trying to maybe just like dangle him in Ken's mouth while he's sleeping next time I'm down there.
I don't even have to be asleep. Let's just do this awake.
I feel like his old lady. I feel like if I told Ken's old lady I want to sneak in there while he's sleeping and dip these beads, these anal beads in his mouth, I think she'd be on board. I think she would help me.
I think she would assist you 100%. She's that kind of person.
I feel like she'd probably be like, hey, let's rub them in that dog shit first, and then do it.
I am a little nervous of having you down here now. Because this is 100. Two things are going to happen. I'm going to have dirty anal beads dipped in my mouth while I'm sleeping. And you're going to fucking, we're going to go to that Arby's again in my car. And you're going to send me dirty, dirty things while the chick's fucking taking my money and having the car read them out loud in an Irish accent. And that's
I've never owned a car.
The fuck out of me.
Or that read text messages like that, so that just fascinated the shit out of me, and I couldn't stop sending them. And your dumbass kept the volume up. Well, you get what you get. But I think so. The next time I get to see Ken, I have to fly to Jacksonville though, so I don't know if I want to take like used anal beads on the flight with me because I'm only taking a carry-on because it's a short trip. So I just don't know. And like the group of people that I'm going with, like the guys that I'm like. I don't know, like I want to be that dude in line. Like, hey man, why is Dave getting talked to by TSA? He's got anal beads in his carry-on. Like, I just don't know that I want to have to explain that to the group of folks that I'm going to Jacksonville with.
You know where you could put them that's not in your carry-on.
Is this the? This is the first episode that we're putting on FetLife. Is that what's going on here?
Sounds like it.
I'll give you his address.
Everybody here has my address.
But if they got there before me, he'd just throw them out and then it'd be ruined.
I don't know if he'd throw them out. He wouldn't waste something like that.
I mean, they wouldn't be visible with fans on. You know what I'm saying? But, wait, so how many people am I hosting? You said the group of people you're flying with.
Well, no, they can all get hotels, right? I'm the only one taking advantage of the free lodging. I didn't even tell them about that. They're like, you got a hotel? Like, yeah, man, I'm good.
It's out now.
Yeah.
So no shame. We're going to have to post this after he's on his way back to Wisconsin.
All right, so what else we got?
Apparently, we're going to have a real bad case of herpes and anal warts.
Yeah, the State of the Union for 2022, I guess, is anal beads and social media.
Well, there's the title of this one.
Bro, I'm sorry, I just had this fucking... We got to go back to the fucking Neon Bridge and take like these hard as fuck gang photos in front of the Volkswagen.
With the anal beads. We can clean them and then we'll just have one dangling out of the mouth, like one end on each.
So, I think it's about time for me to be. Look at the time! Wow.
Hey,
well, it's been about 58 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. One last thing. Did you guys hear, as a shameless plug, did you guys hear that NoShame started a new podcast?
Yeah.
Why the fuck is this getting shit on me?
No, so NoShame. Yeah, I heard NoShame. It was his baby.
Shut up. You were right there.
He named it. He put the crew together. He produces it. He runs the Instagram page. He does it all.
Dude, that shit is fire too. If you haven't checked it out, however, I will say it's a little bit lame because it's not motorcycle related at all. But you can check out the Drunk Podcast. New episodes dropping weekly.
So NoShame, why don't you tell us about your side hustle there that you didn't tell anybody else about until right now?
Yeah. So just to clarify some things, I was the last person to know about this podcast. I got brought on as the third wheel, and I was apparently the only person that questioned, hey, did you tell the other guys about this?
No.
To where I got, yeah, I think we told them.
No.
Yeah, they definitely know about it. But
no,
yeah.
They do not.
Come to find out.
That's all 100% true.
Yeah. So anyways, we got this new podcast. It's way better than this one. So just stop listening now and go over to Drunk Digest.
Dude,
you can find us on YouTube and Spotify. And it's where we're going to make all the money that we don't make on Four for the Road.
And that's what I said in the first episode. I was like, not having to consider what I'm saying because it might offend somebody within the nation or another nation or have repercussions or whatever. I was like, this is so freeing. I feel like I have my balls out right now. This isn't motorcycle related at all. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, on the other podcast, we can talk about anal beads and like all sorts of gay shit without any repercussions.
You'd never talk about that here.
Yeah, and don't ask Antonio what he's drinking.
He already listened to it. We already got a fan.
What's in his cup? Huh?
I'll tell you, the biggest disappointment was...
Yeah, I listened to it. That's why I was like, Oh, this motherfucker's left me out. I guess because I don't drink. I can't be on the podcast because I don't drink.
That's what I told Ken. I said I don't even drink, and now I got to start drinking just to be part of their little stupid crew.
First of all,
I'll come to find out that Dave didn't even fucking drink. He had that fucking little cup, and he was like, "Oh, it's my business. What's in here?" It was fucking water. Spoiler alert.
Oh, you lying liar.
Yeah.
I was trying to be like,
We'll have to start a fucking
AJ Hawk.
We're gonna start a sweet tea podcast.
That's actually not a bad name for a podcast.
I'll produce it for you.
Sweet tea, just nah. See,
it could be you and Chop just sitting there talking country as fuck to each other.
There's a whole what the hell?
No, that's a moneymaker too. Stay tuned for next week when the Sweet Tea podcast drops.
Right. Fucking A. I'll subscribe to that one.
You could call it Hillbilly Fuck You.
We didn't think you had time. We're like Silent's busy with Rockets and being a big time boss in his club. He ain't got no time for us.
He don't.
Always got time.
I mean, he legitimately
that's a lie,
made time
but,
for us tonight, so we can't really say that though.
If you try to schedule, like tonight, you actually caught me. You know, I didn't have a whole lot going on. But if you try to schedule stuff in advance, I can try to make it work. It's when you fucking send me a message at 6:45 and go, "Hey, you want to do a podcast at 7:00?" 7:00 when? Tomorrow? Fucking the next day? What? No, 15 minutes from now.
That's how fast the road goes.
Yeah, that don't work real good.
I don't think you understand. Out of the this is going to be like the 84th or 85th episode. Out of the 84 or 5 of the episodes that we have up, like 70 of them were like, "Hey, bro, do you want to record in 20 minutes?" Okay, yeah, I got nothing else going on. Let's go. That's how it goes. But last shameless plug is Black Sails is now doing points covers. You should go over to blacksailsupply.com and order yours now. Pre-order yours now for your twin cam, your Evolution motor, or your M8 Harley Davidson. Thank you very much.
Wait, I have a plug. Go now to Dave's Anal Beads Emporium. 2 for 1 sale.
That's not a bad idea either. There's a lot of good names getting kicked around here tonight. I like.
Fuck yeah, dude. Dave's Anal Bead Emporium, sponsored by Black Sails Supply Company. I like that.
I think we found the first
shame. You got a lot of editing to do.
No, none. This is perfect.
No, this is all making it into the episode. What are you talking about?
Nobody's listening to this now.
This will be like the highest rated episode we have.
Right?
We've lost everybody by now.
Nah, dude. You know what? Some of the best reviews we get is when we just veer like wildly off topic and we start like, dude, one of the best performing episodes we have is the 1%er history where Dave tried to bust open his discoveries, and like 10 minutes into the fucking episode, we started talking about a gangbang, and like we never touched on the 1%er history after that.
Yeah, we got
one of the best performing episodes we have.
Which, to be fair, like on Drunk Digest, like they keep trying to make me do that too. They're like, "Hey, tell us that story," and I was like, I'm a man. There's more to me than just that. Okay.
It's Kenjamin.
Yeah, but we don't give a shit about the other stuff there is to you. We care about the gangbang. That's why you're Gangbang Dave.
Fair enough.
He's Anal Bead Dave now.
Yeah,
he's definitely ABD. What up, dog?
And to hear more of this, please check out Drunk Digest.
And I thought he was Antonio.
Well, because Antonio Cremart on the episode we were doing was talking about fatherhood and kids and all this stuff. And Antonio Cremarte has like 14 kids, and he had 4 kids after he had a vasectomy. So I thought it was relevant. And of course, nobody got it.
Yeah, because nobody ever heard of the fucking guy.
Dude, I really do.
He played like 12 seasons
14 kids. His ass is in jail for not paying child support.
I feel bad.
Nobody heard of that guy.
I felt like a bad friend when he kept dropping all these references, and I'm just staring at him, just like, dude, fuck, no.
That's not your fault. That's not your fault, Ken. He should have had better fucking references.
I felt like I feel like he should have had better references. Yes. However, I felt like I should have been able to meet him at halfway, or at least just like fake laugh, be like, "Oh, I totally get what you're saying, man."
You know
You
what?
could have come with like
100% on
sources
board.
though. You could have come with like pictures and like I could have put that shit up on the screen. That's
I
like the
sent
whole
you-
thing over there.
I sent links afterwards. Also, if I wanted this abuse, I'd go on another road trip with Jim. Okay, it's ridiculous.
Hey, we had
Yeah,
that was a good time.
That was a good time.
Yeah,
We're gonna do another one.
Dude, I cannot wait for you guys to hear the fucking stories from October. October. That's when I
That was
transfer.
a
I don't know where
long
the
time
fuck I'm
ago.
going
What the
yet, but
fuck?
Dave's riding with me, and
Oh, this coming up October?
yes, sir.
I'm talking about April or May. Jim's gonna meet us in Jacksonville and go back to Virginia with us.
Yeah, okay.
And we're gonna stop and see Chop and take Chop's teeth out.
You should take them with you.
Like take him out. Or- just get him super stoned and drunk, and then just take that dick move. Just like take the bottoms.
How dope would it be if you had like an open pair of dentures as your clutch, or not your
No,
clutch, as your fucking brake?
Just put his
What-
dentures.
What
Just
if we
put his
fucking replace-
dentures everywhere we go. Everywhere we go, just put it. Gas stations, put his dentures up there. Restaurants, put his dentures up there, and then just hashtag it as we go up the East Coast with Chop's dentures.
It's like the traveling gnome, but then he has to put it back in his mouth before washing it.
Just fucking chopping across America. That's what we'll call it. Dude, fucking replace his dentures with like those chattering teeth.
Dude, can you imagine if he did put it back in his mouth? Jesus, they're gonna name the next COVID variant after him.
It's that anal beat, Dave.
All right, are we done with this episode? This was a good time, but I gotta go.
Oh, dude, we are so done.
All right,
Yeah, I
take
think
us
Jim
out.
checked out like 20 minutes ago.
I'm pretty sure that Silent has just put a cardboard cutout of himself and left us like 30 minutes ago.
I checked out a while ago. That pain pill is fucking kicking my balls right now.
Oh, what the hell?
Shut up, Ken. Nobody's talking to you.
There's
Yes,
your
sir.
next T-shirt. Shut up, Ken. That's your next T-shirt.
Shut up, Ken.
Look at
Yes.
all the great ideas that have just happened in the last 10 minutes.
No, I think Anal Bead Dave's going to end up on a t-shirt.
I think Shut Up Ken is better. That's
I
perfect.
think Shut Up, Ken is much better.
Much better.
I'll tell you what. I will make a Shut Up Ken t-shirt, and I will post that shit on blacksalesupply.com. If I get because there's a minimum of like 150 listens per episode on YouTube, right? So if I get 100 comments on this video that says "Shut up, Ken," okay, you know what? You're right. That's a lot. We'll go with 50. If I get 50 comments on this video that say "Shut up, Ken,"
How
I will
about
make that
5?
shirt.
Well, that's easy.
No.
I'll just do it 50 times. That's easy.
I'll
It's done.
post
No.
it. Can I post it on Instagram? Instagram will do it.
Instagram will do it.
Yeah, Instagram will get it.
Okay,
100
babe.
comments on
This is-
Instagram, easy.
Yeah, when
Hey,
you
so this
finish.
is- okay, so check it out.
So hang
This
on,
is
wait.
this is at
When you
1 hour 8 minutes on Instagram, right? This is where I want you to fucking cut this, post this on Instagram. Instagram, check it out. Dave needs 100 comments on this, right? Because we got like 2,500 followers, whatever, on Instagram. He needs 100 fucking comments on this video for me to post a "Shut Up Ken" t-shirt, and I will sell that shit, tax, shipping included, for nothing more than the cost of the t-shirt. So make it happen.
I'll
right,
make
shut
a
up, shut
TikTok
up,
and
Ken,
give
I
your
wanna
cell
know.
phone number out and get fucking 100 people to send you a dick pic. To make it up that shirt.
I tell you what, you give my cell phone number out there, and I get titty pictures. They will get free stickers. That's all I'm saying.
you would
What are the
get
dick
no,
pictures?
you would get
You're
nothing
getting
but
dick
penis.
pics. It's
No,
all
I just
dick
get nothing but fucking fat dudes like showing their fucking hairy man titties and be like, ugh. I mean, I'd smash, but ugh.
All right, send us home, Ken.
Ken slurring and White Claws are kicking his ass.
I'm drinking a Miller Lite. Just let him go.
Thank
Take
you.
this episode
So,
home.
This is definitely the end of the episode, everybody. There are definitely laws in effect because nobody is drinking claws. We thank you guys so much for the support. And Jim and Dad, thank you guys for entertaining the last like 20 minutes of this episode because it definitely did get weird, but we all had a good time with it.
I do appreciate
so
you guys
again-
staying up past your bedtime.
Shut up. Shut up.
Hey, I didn't even fucking say. Anyway,
Shut up, Ken.
thank you guys out there in listener land for so much. Thank you guys so much out there in listener land for all the love and support. We appreciate you.
Let's go, Brandon.
Okay, there's that. So somebody get that man his fucking Adderall and like, all right. I
Hey, we got to start that as the intro from now on. We got to play that fucking song.